Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weaves, and this is What If Naruto Was Neglected Part 1. We'll get straight into it. And anyways, now we begin this way with Naruto being born and nothing pretty much happening. Naruto's born at the same time as Itachi, and you already know he's a younger child. He's actually 5 years old. I'm just gonna say that Minato's a bit older here. Don't ask me why. Anyways, so we move. So anyway. Of course, Naruto and Itachi would grow up with pretty good childhoods here. Well, not Itachi, sorry, just Naruto. Naruto grew up with a pretty good childhood until his, the war arc happens, the Third Great Ninja War, and of course, like Fugaku did with Itachi, Minato does the same thing, takes Naruto to this battlefield, and Naruto tries helping out this guy that's asking for water, and he's on the verge of death. Of course, as soon as he sees Naruto, and he looks like the Minato no Mikaze. He tries to kill him on the spot, but Naruto actually stops, moves away and kills him. And Naruto's first kill was due to that, and he asked why did he try to kill me? And of course, Minato explains it like Fugaku, but he gave it a little bit of a smile to Naruto. And anyways, now no one knew that Minato had a son, and only a few certain people did. And anywho, now Naruto would, of course, a few years would pass, and of course, Naruto would enroll into the academy. And anyway, no, he wouldn't even enroll into the academy yet. In fact, of course, the Naruto's attack happens, and here his younger siblings are being kidnapped, and Naruto would actually be there with Minato. Of course, Naruto would actually literally hold on to Minato to the last second, as Minato told him to remain, and Naruto teleports there with Minato where Kushina was, and Minato decides to seal away the Narutos into Naruto. But here he doesn't use the Reaper Death Seal, as he's able to seal away the whole Narutos. Well, he is actually able to split the Narutos in two, and it was actually a different type of really high level sealing jutsu. It was similar to the Reaper Death Seal, just that it didn't cost a life, but it was very, very chakra draining, and it would put you out of service for at least 2-3 months. You'd just be kind of crippled, but you could still walk and everything. You just can't use your chakra for a long while, which is a 2-3 month interval. And anyways, now it's a pretty long cooldown, because the Reaper Death Seal, if you don't die, you can use it over and over and over again. Let's be honest. And anyway, now, for example, if Orochimaru had infinite chakra, he could just go on and do it again. But anyways, because he has a way to, evade death somehow. Anyway, now, of course, Naruto would receive the Narutos, but his younger siblings, Mito and Menma, of course, would be born. And Naruto, during this time, he would see them grow up, and he'd be happy for them. And for a little while, just a little bit, of course, he's seen that he was actually treated the same. But over the next few months, Naruto realized that, he's been treated a bit differently. Less attention has been, given to him, and it was pretty obvious. But Naruto thought that it was because, his younger siblings are much younger than him, and they need more attention, as they were just babies, isn't it? So Naruto played off as that, and he actually became best friends with Itachi, and he would spend most of his day with Itachi, and he would enroll into the academy. In fact, he was on par with Itachi. Even when Itachi had the Sharingan already, Naruto would be on par with him. He would just be so much better than Itachi. In fact, he's that much of a prodigy. And anywho, now, something that people have missed out is that Naruto and Minato wasn't actually a full Namikaze, yeah, and Naruto would actually have Uchiha genes from Uchiha in his ancestry, And of course, over time, the Uchiha genes became smaller and smaller as they halved. So it was an Uchiha and a Namikaze at first, and then the half Uchiha and Namikaze married another Namikaze, which would make the offspring into a quarter Uchiha and a three-quarter Namikaze until over time, over generations, Minato came about, and then Minato married an Uzumaki, and most of Naruto's genes would be Uzumaki and Namikaze, but he would have that very little percentage of Uchiha. And as Naruto grew up, of course, he's seen the world in a different perspective with Itachi, and Itachi and Naruto would have the same mentality here. There would be prodigies beyond prodigies, and of course, there would be the prodigies among prodigies, literally, and Naruto would unlock the Sharingan, but he would ask Itachi to not tell anyone. Itachi was more than happy enough to not tell anyone, and Naruto, being the child of the fourth Hokage, of course, no one knew, still to this day, as it was well, it wasn't really announced or anything like Menma and Mito, and the Nine Tails was actually stood inside Kushina, and many people died, but many found out that Naruto, this blonde-haired kid who looked a lot like Minato, but they just played it off, actually, and here Naruto was actually born with whiskers nonetheless, and we won't really change anything about his, his looks. And anyways, of course, Naruto would have blue eyes as well, so his Sharingan would go from instead of from black eyes to red eyes, it would go from blue eyes to a bit of I'll just say normal red, normal Sharingan eyes. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto and Itachi would be training together one day while their clones were at the academy, and they actually there while they were training together, they actually met Shisui. The three actually became really good friends, extremely good friends, best friends at that, and of course, all three of them would train together, and Danzo would actually want them in the academy. Naruto would always be wearing a mask anyway around the village, as he would try to hide his face, as whenever people look at him, they just get really pissed off and start beating him around. And anyways, now it's been 4 years, 5 years, and Menma and Mito and Sasuke and oh, sorry, not and they would all be five, and they'd be just toddlers running around, kids being their age, and Minato and Kushina would spoil the two. Of course, Sasuke wasn't spoiled here, and he'd be training hard. Same with Naruto. Naruto has immense chakra reserves. In fact, even bigger, probably even bigger than Menma and Mito, although they have the same exact genes. But anyways, Naruto was a rare case where he unlocked the Sharingan over time. And anyways, now, of course, his Sharingan was a bit more developed than the other twos, well, not the other twos, than Itachi, not Shisui, as Shisui already was already Monkekyo level at the time, I'm pretty sure. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto and Itachi would be found out to have, used clones, and Naruto's parents would be summoned, but of course, they never showed up, as no one, as the two never really cared about Naruto, and Naruto would be promoted to Genin nonetheless. And here there would be a Genin team of four, as of course, here I'll say that Itachi will actually unlock the Sharingan even earlier. Oh, sorry, he already had this. Sorry, my bad. Of course, Itachi would unlock his free Tomoe Sharingan once his team gets killed or one of his teammates get killed. And here, both Naruto and Itachi were there to witness this, and the two see their friend die, and they unlock the three Tomoe Sharingan. After this, the two both pretty much become individual ninjas, as Itachi would actually join the Anbu, and so would Naruto here. And of course, Minato and Kushina were oblivious to this, as they didn't really care about Naruto Uzumaki. They only cared about Menma and Mito Namikaze, as after Naruto's death, the name Namikaze was taken on by Kushina, as everyone found out that this was Kushina was Minato's wife. Anyways, a few years pass, and Menma and Mito are now 8, and of course, Naruto was coming back from an army mission, and usually he would just teleport to his own room at the attic, but instead of doing that, Naruto would actually today take off his clothes and masks. He would actually teleport near their compound, and he would change clothes outside the home and walk in. Of course, He's already had a shower at the Anbu, at the root hideout, and everything. And Shisui and Naruto and Itachi would have made a deadly trio, the three deadly Uchiha, and of course, no one knew who the third Uchiha was. Fugaku actually knew, as Naruto would spend a lot of time with Fugaku's family, as they actually welcomed Naruto as their own flesh and blood. And here, the Uchiha one sent to the outskirts of the village as Mina to survive to tell the tale of Madara Uchiha still being alive, and it wasn't the actual Uchihas who were controlling the Narutos, but it was some other rogue Uchiha who left years ago, nearly 100 years ago to be honest, but anyways now, probably 100 years ago, I'll say nearly, but anyways now, because there was like a 12-year gap in between, and anyways now, of course, Naruto and Itachi would be best friends. Like they would never leave each other's side. And one thing that happened in a filler would still happen here. And of course, this would change both Naruto and Itachi's perspective. And that would be when Shisui tells them that his little speech about the Shinobi world. And anyways, I'll be playing it right here. And anyway, by the way, I do not own these, and hope I don't get copyrighted. And anyways, we'll play them here. Sorry, I actually decided not to play them because I feel like I could get copyright striked, and I don't want my channel taken down, or I don't want to take the video down. So I'm just going to say what he really says. But anyway, did I make the right decision? I can't say for sure. I don't even know if there is such thing as justice in the Shinobi world. We fight believing we are on the side of justice. But if the enemy feels the same, how do we know we are really right? There is more than one side to an issue. We must consider things from various viewpoints and not only from one, as this causes conflict. Anyways, after the speech, Naruto and Itachi started thinking more widely. They didn't think of their own issues, but or how they viewed their own issues, but how others viewed similar issues, and how this causes the endless cycle of hatred, the cycle of this cycle of hatred needs to stop, and that's what Naruto and Itachi always fought. And at that age, Naruto is only I'd say right now he's 10, so Menma and Mito would be like, well, they'd be around 11, sorry, 11, as Itachi joined the army by 11, and so did Naruto here. And I'd say they're nearly 12, and anyway. So, sorry. So, if Naruto and Itachi are 11 at the time, and they are around, that means that they're around 5, there was a 5-year gap, I'm pretty sure, as when in the original, when Sasuke in the Chunin exams he was around 13, and Itachi came back when he was around 17, 18. So I'll say that the gap in age was 5. So when Naruto was 11, his other two siblings were 5 years younger, which means that there was 6. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto and also further information is that Itachi killed his clan when he was 13 years old, which was 2 years after he joined the army. Sorry about that, my dad walked in. Anyways, now, Naruto would actually walk in to his home, and Kushina would ask, like, what was he doing out this late? Why was he not at school? Why did he not come back? And Naruto says, well, I graduated a long time ago, a few years ago, and at that. So I don't see the reason why I had to go to school. I mean, you guys were told about it, but you never showed up. So I don't see a reason why I should have told you myself. And plus, what do you mean late? It's only 5 p.m. and it's not even dark. So I don't see a reason for me to come in I don't see a reason for me to apologize for being late, as clearly I am not, and the academy would have finished at 3 anyway. 5 is not that bad. Anyways, of course, Kushina got angry as Naruto retaliated, and she scolds Naruto and sends him to his room, and Naruto, of course, walks upstairs without saying a word, and his two siblings look at him in, as they were laughing at him. Naruto just looks away, shaking his head, as at that age Naruto was pretty much training his ass off, and he's been training like that for years now. He realizes that he might need a break, but then he also realizes that he's in the army, so if he takes a break, it's like allowing the village to be vulnerable. Anyways, now, of course, Naruto continues training over time, and he's now nearly 12, and his two siblings were actually born on the same day as him. No one really remembers his birthday, but on the day that it came, of course, Naruto was actually coming back from a mission, and even his best friend didn't, well, wish him happy birthday as he was going home. Of course, he had a shower in the academy. I mean, not academy, but in the route. And on the way, Danzo actually looked at him, and he kind of felt pity for Naruto a little bit, just a little bit. As Danzo here, he's kind of a changed man, I'm going to say, in this What If. And of course, he doesn't hate the Uchiha as much, as clearly they've been helping him a lot, and he's changed his ways. And he looks at Naruto and pats him on the head and says, "Happy birthday, my boy." As Danzo actually does this for everyone's birthday whenever he's there. It's their birthday. And Naruto smiles at him and says, "Thanks, old man. You're the only one who actually remembered." As Naruto's voice becomes shaky, and of course, Danzo actually gives him a hug and says, "Remember, you're one of my Anbu, and I shall never forget my Anbu's birthdays or any of their important dates. Remember, today was your birthday, not the Naruto's attack. Don't let that get to your mind, okay? Also, here's a birthday gift." As he gives Naruto a new sword, as his one was getting quite old and rusty, and Naruto actually sheds a little bit of a few tears and thanks him quite a bit, and Danzo says it's nothing. It's the least he can do for all the work Naruto has been doing, as Naruto is known for doing a lot of work. Anyways, on his way out, Shisui and Itachi were waiting for him and told him that they should head off together, and Naruto should come to their house once, as there is a birthday party for, his siblings, so no one will remember him even needing to be at home. Naruto was like, "You're right, might as well just go to one of your houses." And anyways, while Naruto was actually going to their home, of course, here he doesn't really meet, no one really gives him a stare today, as everyone was celebrating Mito's and Menma's, the heroes' birthdays, as a way to actually, make sure that their villagers don't hate Mito and Menma, was to say that they were heroes. They were the motivation for the Hokage to actually fight the Naruto's, continue fighting him. Anyways, now Naruto looks down, and anyways, of course, Itachi puts an arm around him and tells him that, "Come on, pick up the pace," as Naruto's falling behind. And anyways, Naruto just smiles and continues going. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto, actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that Naruto is quite strong. Of course, that was pretty obvious, but Naruto knows a lot of jutsus. He is Minato's son, so he does know the Flying Raijin. In fact, he knows it a bit better than him at this point. I mean, Minato hasn't been using it in years in a fight, but Naruto has been using it pretty much on a daily basis, and his skills just being refined over and over again. Every single day Naruto uses it, it's one step closer to perfection. And anyways, now Naruto also has learned the Rasengan, and there is another person in Naruto's world that actually remembers his birthday, and that is his little grandma, his grandma Tsunade. Even she realizes that Naruto was being neglected. She always used to come to say hello with Jiraiya, but Jiraiya told Minato and Kushina that there will be two children or two people that will change this world forever. They are the children of prophecy, and of course he was prophesizing Naruto and Itachi here. Yes, I'll have it as Naruto and Itachi being the two brothers, and not Sasuke, as Sasuke is not Naruto's age, although age doesn't really matter here. But since Sasuke is actually younger than Naruto, he can't really be it. Well, he could, but then again, I don't really want Sasuke to be really extremely relevant here, as well, he will be relevant as Naruto's actually quite good friends with him. But of course, this is more of a story about Itachi and Naruto. Anyways, we'll not dive into that too much. It might change over the what if I really want to make Sasuke the, Indra's reincarnation or maybe even Ashura's, but we move anyways. Now, Naruto arrives at the Uchiha compound and is welcomed with, well, smiles and warmth. Whenever Naruto comes around, everyone is in a good mood and they always smile at him, which Naruto has, of course, first of all, is courtesy to smile back at someone that smiles at you. And of course, Naruto smiles back as he's always welcomed here and he feels at home whenever he's here. Anyways, now Naruto goes into, well, Itachi's house as Shisui actually comes in for once. Shisui usually just walks them and home and hangs out with them a little bit on the way and then goes home on his own. But this time not he walked in, and this is one of the things that Naruto observed, and of course using an observation skill that he has learned through the Anbu, and of course over time his observation ability is quite high. Anyway, now of course as Naruto walks into the home, he actually realizes that Fugaku and Mikoto are not in the home, and most of the rooms are quite dark except for the living room. That there was a little bit of light shining past the little crack of the door, and as of course Naruto opens it, everyone says happy birthday to Naruto, surprising Naruto, and Naruto's quite surprised to see so many people there. Of course, Naruto sees the Uchihas, well, especially Mikoto, Sasuke, Fugaku. Itachi, of course, is right next to him, and Shisui is right next to him too. But also, he sees other people that he's quite good friends with, and there is another Uchiha here, and that her name is actually Tsuki. And don't worry, she won't be in every single way of mine from now on. I know I've been overusing her, but it's been a while since I haven't. And anyway, Tsuki actually greets Naruto, as Naruto and Tsuki have been quite good friends, especially in the academy. Although Tsuki was quite behind both Sasuke and both Itachi and Naruto, as she is Itachi's cousin. Her parents actually died in the Naruto's attack, and Naruto always expected her to hate Naruto. However, she was always kind to Naruto. She knew that Naruto was never really the real reason for it, and she always treated Naruto as an equal, and in fact, even respected him for being so strong. She never resented him in any kind of way, and Naruto actually had a crush on her as well, but he never really made it really obvious to her, except for when he was with Itachi. Whenever he brings her up, of course Naruto can't blushes and anyways now. Everyone wishes Naruto a happy birthday and they give him gifts. Naruto mostly receives gifts as they were ninja tools, mostly ninja tools from Fukaku. Sasuke made a gift with Mikoto, and that was being a necklace for Naruto and an Uchiha necklace for Naruto, and of course someone else joined the party here, and that was actually Tsunade. Tsunade came in and she saw that Naruto was all grown up now. It's been a full year, and every year Naruto has been growing taller, stronger, and he seemed more mature. But every year that passes, of course, Naruto has been mature from a long time now. But anyways, now she gives him a gift. Of course, kisses him on the forehead as he is basically her favorite grandson, of course, or son. As she treats him as more of a grandson because, their little family, little bond that they have. But anyways, now of course she gives him her precious necklace, which is the Hokage, the first Hokage's necklace, which Naruto actually starts declining, saying that he doesn't deserve a necklace that's been given, that's been passed down generations, and not generations, that's been passed down to only people who want to become Hokage by someone who was the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Of course, Tsunade bonks him on the head, saying that it's not only for people like that, it's also for people who deserve it for real, and that's what her grandfather always said, and not clearly she was never really one who was always excited to be Hokage, although she's been offered it many times in the past. She never really accepted it. And anyways, of course, the celebrations went on until it was around, and today Naruto actually came quite early, so his birthday party was around like 1 p.m. I'll say. And of course the Uchiha were invited to the Namikaze's birthday party too, and they couldn't really decline because it was the Hokage asking the clan heads to be there, and the whole village really celebrates it, and it's in the middle of the village, so they have to just show up for courtesy. And of course, Naruto says it's fine as he's happy for what he received today, and on his way, while he was actually well walking with Itachi, someone else taps him on his shoulder, and Naruto looks back to see the Hokage, the third Hokage, out of all Hokages, of course, because the fourth doesn't really care about him. And anyways, now, of course, he gives Naruto a little gift, and that gift was actually a summoning scroll. It was actually the Toad summoning, as he couldn't put, as Enma really, although he really liked Naruto, and Enma always bonked, well, clashed, as whenever they met, they were actually quite the enemies. And anyways, now, they were more of like little rivals, as whenever they were together, they would actually, compete with each other. But anyways, now, he had to give him the Toad summoning, as he saw Naruto's potential, and he wanted Naruto to learn Sage Mode too, just like his father and his father's master. Although he's never going to be taught by them, as things are looking like. Of course, he gives it to Naruto. Naruto's kind of taken aback a little bit, but whoa, it's the first time. Oh wait, no, leave it. I don't want to ramble. Anyway, of course, he was a bit taken aback, as he didn't really want it, but of course, it was a gift, and he realizes what the benefits from it, and so he takes it and is quite happy with it. Anyways, he was going to use it later, but now they head off to the birthday party, as Naruto would have to be there anyway, as they are his little younger siblings, and Naruto has gotten a gift for them, although they were always bratty and everything. Naruto always gives them a gift. Of course, it's anonymous every year, but anyways. Naruto also, one of the gifts that he received from Tsuki, the one gift that he received from Tsuki were new clothes, as his parents don't really buy him clothes, and Naruto always uses the old ragged clothes whenever he's on his days off, or he's always out with his friends, and it was always the same. And of course, she gets him new clothes, and those clothes were actually ones that didn't really stand out, like his jumpsuit, as he had to wear it, as he never really goes out for shopping, or clothes shopping, first of all. And anyways, those clothes were like Naruto the Lost clothes, and Naruto was really happy with them. In fact, he was wearing them now. And anyways, now the birthday party would ensue, and then of course, all the gifts were given, everyone was happy, and one of the gifts that was given by Naruto would be opened, and of course, the gift was anonymous. No one really knew who gave it, and every year there is someone anonymously giving them gifts, and of course, the Uchiha knew that was Naruto, as Naruto would then want people to, look at him and whisper about him, and so they open it, and it was actually two weapons, and of course, it was quite dangerous, but they realized that they're coming to that age that they're going to enter the academy, and Naruto knows that, and he wants to give them two nice weapons to use and train with. And anyways, the two were ecstatic, as no one has ever given them something like this, but of course their parents had something better in mind. Of course, they would confiscate the weapons until they become real Genins. And now, of course, the two, Mito was actually, given clan head to the Uzumaki, whereas Enma was given the clan head to the Namikaze, as no one really was, as the two were kind of the last remaining part of the clan. And anyways, now Naruto really didn't care. He didn't consider him as part of those clans, as he considered himself as part of the Uchiha clan now, and it's been like that for a few years, and Naruto was expecting them to become clan heads one day. And for now, they will be basically the future clan heads of those two clans. And now, once the other two retire or something, they will be the next in line to become clan heads. Of course, that means that Minato and Kushina need to retire. Anyways, now, of course, Naruto and people were actually whispering about Naruto, as of course those were only the clan heads who actually knew about Naruto's true identity, and he heard Shikamaru's father. And just saying Shikamaru here, because I really like Shikamaru, he'll be a bit older, same as Choji. Don't ask me why, I'll just say that they have younger siblings that look like them, so they will be in the academy too. But Shikamaru and Choji are older, and Naruto is quite good friends with them, and so is Itachi. Of course, those two actually are whispering, say, Naruto, you should have got those two clan heads, or at least one of them, as clearly you are the older one. And of course, this is overheard by some people, and especially the Hyuga, and they asked, of course, Neji, who's quite young here. He's only 4 years younger, but he actually hangs out with them because he was just like that. And here, of course, Hayashi, the Hyuga would be quite normal as a Minato. Although he's a bad father here, he's actually quite a good Hokage. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto would just tell them to shut up. There's no point of arguing about it, as he doesn't care. He never really wanted the clan head anyway, and it's not worth it. He doesn't want to be a clan head of such selfish clans, as clearly they're quite selfish. And anyways, of course, he'll just be a member of it, and he'll just try his best to be as normal as he could, or as normal as he can. Of course, Shisui pats him on the head and says, "That's my little bro." And anyways, of course, Naruto looks back at Shisui and says, "Hey, listen, I'm not your brother." And Shisui says, "Well, technically you are. Well, not really technically. I say you are." And anyways, now, as all this was happening, someone actually was hired to assassinate the two younger siblings of Naruto, or the fourth Hokage's son, actually attacked. This attack ensued as he was an S-rank shinobi. Yes, you heard it, an S-rank shinobi. No one expected it, and everyone was caught off guard. Minato was actually wearing his robes and was ready to fight, but as this shinobi from the cloud, I'll say, as the cloud kinda hates the leaf, was attacking. Of course, Fugaku already activated the Sharingan as he was ready, but out of nowhere, someone threw a kunai, right in front of the Hokage, or in between the Hokage and the man who were facing each other, as Minato was in front of the man who was ready to kill the two siblings, the two twins. Naruto comes in the way and says, "You take one more step towards my siblings, and I promise you, you will suffer. You will suffer a death that you can't even imagine." Of course, the man scoffs and attacks this this child. Naruto, of course, puts on his mask. Well, he already had his mask on, and activates his Sharingan, and pretty much attacks himself, and not attacks himself, attacks the man himself, and he takes him down easily, and even Rasengans him to blow him away. Of course, then Naruto drew his blade and said that this is the end for you. And of course, as he was about to kill him, of course, he stops right in the middle, as the man was looking at the blade right in front of him and was on the floor, scared for his life. Naruto says, "Get out of the village now, before the fourth Hokage comes." And just saying, Naruto has kicked him quite far away and brought the fight somewhere else, and Naruto wants to give him a second chance. The man asks him why. Naruto then takes his mask off and says, "I really don't like this village, and I can understand exactly why you would hate it, but I'm still proud to be part of the village. I will do anything to protect my village. Now, I don't want to resent you for killing my siblings. Go, run. Run away from here. Never show your face to the Hokage ever again, as he will kill you. He won't allow you to leave." Now, the man escapes, and Naruto puts back his mask on, as it was quite cracked, and the Hokage asked, "Where did the man go?" And Naruto said he escaped, he couldn't see. And the Hokage was quite pissed off, and he said, "How could you let him escape? You're a part of the army, aren't you? How dare you? You're trained to be able to do this." And Naruto says, "Shouldn't be you thanking me for saving your children." Of course, the Hokage retaliates, or Minato retaliates, saying, "You failure, you failed the village. You failed your own village. You shouldn't even be part of the Anbu. I'll make sure you aren't. Of course, then Danzo and other people come, and most of them were clan heads, and so of course Itachi, who was right next to Naruto, and Shisui, and says how, and of course Danzo puts his hand on, of course, um, what's his name, Minato, and tells him, "You have no right to take him out of the Anbu, as he's not part of the Hokage's Anbu. He's part of my Anbu, the root, and you have no right. You, as the Hokage as well, have no rights to interfere with my business. My root Anbu allowed, saved your kids. Who knows? That man could have been stronger than you." Minato then Kushina then scoffs it and says, "Stronger than the fourth Hokage, Minato, my husband." And the two siblings actually, who were left, who actually were with Kushina, laughed, saying that he can't be stronger than their father. And Naruto just says, "Ah, you guys shut up, please." And of course, Minato actually attacks Naruto with a Rasengan, breaking his mask off and nearly, smashing the Rasengan into his face. Naruto was able to escape right in time and says, "Whoa, you didn't need to attack me." Of course, no one moved at that point. The Hokage was ready to kill Naruto, and as he attacked Naruto, Naruto just stood still and awaited what was coming towards him. But then Fugaku actually came in the way. So did Tsuki, both of them holding two kunais, and they stopped Minato's kunai. And of course, Minato asked, "How dare they?" And Naruto, and they said, "Are you stupid? You're attacking your own son. Do you not see who he is? That's Naruto Uzumaki. But clearly, you have no right to call him your son anymore. You don't even know you didn't even know his existence until upon now. And you were such a good father all those years ago, before the Ninetales attack, before all your time was taken away by those two brats." Of course, Minato looked down as he remembered everything that he did with Naruto, all those memories, all those happy memories, in fact. But then, after the Ninetales attack, he remembers spending some time with Naruto, but eventually, all his memories flashed up, past his eyes, and Naruto started showing up less and less in family pictures, in family trips out. Whenever they would have family time, Naruto was missing. Each day, Naruto was missing. He was less visible. Of course, Minato then says, "Naruto?" And Naruto says, he finally remembered. Fofukage Minato was Minato no Mikaze. Of course, Naruto called him Minato no Mikaze and Fofukage, and addressed him as the Fofukage, as he clearly does not see him as a father anymore. And then, of course, Kushina actually remembers as well, and she says, Isn't it your birthday too today?" And Naruto says, "Clearly you have remembered a bit too late. It's fine though. I wasn't expecting you guys to even remember. It's a miracle that you have." Of course, Jiraiya actually arrived and he heard everything about the attack and checked if Mito and Menma were alright. And Tsunade heard that an Anbu with blonde hair started protected them, and he started teleporting around with the man and into the forest, and she arrived next to Naruto and checked up on him, and she saw that he has some bruises and some cuts, and she started healing him, and Naruto says, "It's fine. It's fine, these bruises are not from the man anyway. They're from the Fufokage himself. I don't think he wants you to heal them." Of course, the party was ruined, and Naruto says, "It was to be expected that you forgot me. After all, you didn't really love me in the end. You loved those two better. But I don't really blame you. They are my siblings too, so I guess you guys need to spend more time with them since they're younger, right?" That was what I used to tell myself, but eventually I realized you guys just didn't care for me anymore. There's no point of trying to make amends with me now. I'm no longer part of your clan or your family. From this day onwards, I'm just Naruto. I don't want to be part of your family. Of course, now Mito and Sasuke arrive, and of course Sasuke actually runs to Naruto and hugs him and pulls him older brother, and Naruto says, "Hey Sasuke, you need to stop calling me that, bro. well, big brother, not older brother. Of course, Naruto smiling at him, and well, Minato and Kushina ask what's going on here. Why is he calling him older brother or big brother? And of course, Naruto then says clearly I've been acting as a big brother for Sasuke more than your children, as I can never really, well, you guys never really pay attention to me, so there's no point of me being an older brother for my actual siblings. I made a new family in the Uchiha, and now I'm proud to say that I am part of the Uchiha clan. However, I do not possess any powers from the Uchihas, so I am a failure, like you say. And anyways, of course, the everyone actually raised an eyebrow, but they realized that Minato must not know that Naruto has the, well, his well, has unlocked his Sharingan. Of course, Minato then asked, "How can you be an Anbu when you haven't even graduated from the academy? I remember taking you there for your first day. Has it been that long already?" Of course, Minato says, "There's no point of you worrying about it. Just leave and go back to your party. It's fine. I'm going home. I've been thinking of buying myself a new apartment anyway. I guess I've saved enough." Of course, as he was heading home with his hands in his pocket, Itachi and Shisui follow along, and Sasuke tried. Tsuki actually does, and Tsuki, by the way, she lives with Itachi and his family. But anyways, now Shikamaru and Choji follow him too, as they're actually his friends. And anyways, now they were just chilling, as it was like 6-7 p.m. And Naruto says that it's time for him to actually go home. And once he opens the front door, he sees his family actually in the living room waiting for him. Naruto walks in and just scoffs at them and says, "Whoa, having a little family meeting now? It's too late for that. I'm taking my stuff and moving out. I only have one little thing to take." As he goes to his room, of course, his siblings are actually already in their room. Sorry, that's what I meant. Only Kushina and Minato were in the living room. And of course, as Naruto comes down with his little bag, of course, that's literally all he left. His bag with his armor clothes, which he actually came back to put away here. And anyways, he actually does that really quickly and takes his kunai off of the wall as well. And of course, the two tell him to sit down. And of course, Naruto says, "You have no right to stop me." And of course, Minato says, "As the fourth Hokage, I command you to sit down here." Naruto then actually listens, as clearly he is loyal to, his village, and he would never go up against the Hokage, as that would be treason. And anyways, now Naruto asks, "What do you want? I don't have much time. I need to go back home, as I don't really need to buy myself a new apartment. Someone offered their own home, and someone offered to treat me as their own." Of course, Minato and Kushina apologize to Naruto for forgetting him for so long, and of course, ask him for forgiveness. Naruto says, "I forgive you. I mean, I never really cared. I really don't care. Don't care about what you guys do, what you guys think of me, what you guys want me to do. If you guys want me dead or alive, I don't care about anything. Anything to do with you guys, I don't care. I only listen to you, Minato." Well, when the Minato came out with some little bit of, poison, Naruto then tells him that he only respects him for being the fourth Hokage. He doesn't really care for anything else. Of course, then Jiraiya comes in and apologizes to Naruto for forgetting about him, as they used to spend so much time for that. There was so much time together. Anyway, of course, Naruto replies by saying, "Yes, we really did, Jiraiya of the three legendary Sannin. And I guess you forgot me too, after you received that damn prophecy from that toad. Now that I think about it, maybe I don't really need this. But I'll keep it, and I will sign it, as the third Hokage has given me this. I don't know how he had it, but I guess I'll keep it anyway. I'll sign it, and one day become the greatest toad summoner ever." Of course, Minato and Kushina apologize one more time, as Naruto stood up, and says, listen, this is just awkward now. Let's just say that, let's just go back to our normal lives. The lives that you guys never really paid attention to me, and I didn't really care, and I found a new family now. Just go back to that. Try train your children to become good shinobi, and maybe then you can make up for the time lost with me. After you raise them well, you can come back to me and maybe seek for forgiveness. However, I doubt that I want to do that, as I've been hurt for too long. You've sealed away the Naruto's inside of me. You've made people hate me. You've forgotten about me, and still ask for forgiveness. How dare you? You still have the audacity to do that. I hate you with all my heart. Just remember that. Although I hate hate, there is some hate that I cannot stop. I'm a human being after all. Minato no Mikaze and Kushino Uzumaki. I hope you have the best of lives. But when it comes to me, I hope you have the best and worst of relationships, as I do not want to even talk to you. Anyway, I'll be leaving. And here, have this. Of course, Naruto froze pretty much 70% of his savings, as that was most of the money that he calculated that they have used up on him. And Naruto says, this is the money that you used to raise me. I've saved it up for years now. Well, years. By doing missions for the Hokage, third Hokage in fact, and Danzo Shimura, the old man. Anyways, Naruto smiles as he talks about Danzo and the Hokage and the third Hokage, and looks at Jiraiya and says, you have turned out to be a failure of a student of the third. Orochimaru is better than you at this rate, and he hasn't been in the village for years. Of course, we keep in contact with him, but I'm sure you have lost contact with him. Anyways, now I shall be leaving. I don't want to prolong this anymore. You don't need to not accept that money. If you don't want it, use it on your kids. If you don't want to use it on them, just give it to charity or something. Help out the poor. I don't need it for sure. That money is not for me. It's for you guys. After all, that's the money you use on me, and I'm paying my debt back. And I have a new family. I hope I don't have to pay a debt to them. It's kind of expensive. Anyway, Naruto disappears, and they realize their mistake. They realize that they hurt Naruto. They really hurt Naruto. Minato realizes that he's a failure of a father. Although he's been training his kids, he's been raising them well. Naruto turned out to be a very strong shinobi without his help. Naruto grew up to be, now nearly a teenager. He's now 12. One more year and is a teenager, and he's only raised him for maybe a good 5 years of his life. But most of his life he's raised himself, or maybe others have raised him. Others took care of him, and he didn't. Naruto grew up on his own. He was independent most of his life, and he turned out to be even better than him. Naruto and Minato went through pretty much similar childhoods, as they both grew up as orphans pretty much. Naruto, of course, having parents for the first little part of his life, but now he doesn't. Of course, he realized that he's a worthless father, but now a few weeks pass and he has to continue being a good father for his other two kids at least. Kushina always has that little bit of a not resentment, but guilt left over, but she has to continue. And anyways, now every time they see Naruto around the village, and Naruto actually has to do missions with the other Anbu or help the Hokage out, it's really a very awkward scene. And anyways, now Naruto grows up as a really good shinobi. He's now 16. He's no longer in the route, as he quit. He actually retired. Shisui also is no longer in the route, but he's actually one of the chief officers in the police force with Fugaku. And Sasuke has grown up, and now he's at the end of he's at the end of the academy, and The only thing that he looks forward to is finishing the academy and going to train with his older brothers, Shisui, Naruto, and Itachi. Of course, there is no Naruto in this story to be in the academy, but of course there's Menma and Mito. Anyways, now Naruto, of course, is now a Jonin. He's become a Jonin. He's passed his tuning exams. He's passed his Jonin exams, and he's a really good Jonin, and he's really good friends with Kakashi. Although Kakashi is still in good relationships with the full Hokage, he's still really good friends with Naruto, and Naruto doesn't really care if he's in good relations with the fourth. Naruto's not in good relations with the fourth, but he doesn't care if someone else is and he's acquainted to them, as he doesn't resent them for it. And anyways, now Naruto does kind of wish somewhere deep in his heart that he grew up like his siblings, like always being spoiled. But he realizes that he has goals in his life and he needs to do better for himself. And anyways, now he realizes that he needs to leave the village to continue his journey. And on that day, Sasuke's graduation day, Naruto tells him, was going to leave the village, but one thing stopped him from doing that, and that was actually Tsuki. Tsuki has actually become one of the strongest Jonins in the whole entire, well, in the entire what's the Leaf. Although she's only 17, she's already on par with my guy, and in fact, her taijutsu could be actually better than his, of course, unless he goes into the fourth gate onwards, and that's when her taijutsu is much weaker, much less refined than his, and much slower. But of course, with the Sharingan, she makes up for it. She already has a Mangekyo Sharingan from a long time ago because of her. Because of the loss of her parents, she unlocked it. Itachi unlocks it here due to the loss of a friend in the Anbu, and Naruto also unlocks it due to that, as they were both friends with him, and unfortunately he died. And anyways, Shisui, of course, always had the Mangekyo, and here he actually already has, he could have the Eternal Mangekyo as his family member. One of his family member is actually, a family member from somewhere else is not in the academy. He's actually quite old right now, and he is one of the oldest Uchihas out there, and who has the Mangekyo Sharingan, but he's never really utilized it, as he was never really a shinobi who fought in any conflict except for the third Great Ninja War, where he literally did nothing except for watch one of his best friend die, and he lived on his life forever like that. And that was actually Shisui's uncle. And anyways, now of course Shisui would actually always take care of him, as he's now left alone, and he's the last survivor of his family, of everyone, and he's never really had a child or a wife or anything like that. So Shisui would eventually get the Eternal Mangekyo, but Naruto was actually stopped by Tsuki from leaving the village, as she said that they can continue their journey and she could join him, but they could continue by being ninjas of the leaf and become Jonin team leaders. And she actually brings this up because she was going to become Jonin team leader for the first time, but the Hokage was quite skeptical about letting her become a Jonin team leader, as he wanted her to have some experience unless she's with someone else who's a new Jonin team leader. So 2 Jonin team leaders for one team. And anyways, now Naruto accepts so far, as maybe he wants to pass on what he's learned. He wants to teach people, and he accepts it. And anyways, now Naruto would then go on to actually, become a joint team leader of Team 7 here. Team 7 would be made out of a few people, as it would be made out of Menma, Mito, Sasuke, and Sakura, and also Sai. Sai would be their age here, and he wouldn't be part of the route, as Danzo is not a ruthless being who takes away people, and I'll say that Sai somehow became a normal, genin. And anyways, now he'd be quite he'd be quite good friends with Sasuke. And anyways, Sasuke is very, very happy that two people that he loves are his Jonin team leaders. And anyways, of course, one thing that they didn't know was that Kakashi would be with them all the times. They would be trainees. They would be trainees. Both of them would be trainees, and Kakashi would be their Jonin team leader. And of course, once Naruto walked in, as the fourth was quite surprised that Naruto was going to become a Jonin team leader, no, a trainee. He was very happy and actually welcomed Naruto, and he always treated Naruto really nicely. And Naruto says, "Hey, listen, there's no point of trying to put an act now. I know you're trying your best, but really, it's cringy. I don't really care. Just let it go. It's been so many years. You should just let me go. Let me live my life. I'm no longer an Uzumaki or a Namikaze. I'm just a normal guy. And I'm just a normal ninja. And I'm nothing special. Just let it go." Anyways, now, of course, Naruto Minato would just understand and says, "Oh, sorry." Anyways, about this business, about this Jonin team leader thing, you'll be both trainees, and you'll be training under Kakashi Hatake. Although he's a first timer, he has taken a few teams on, and he was a Jonin. He was actually an Anbu team leader, and Naruto knows that because Naruto was in the Anbu. And anyways, of course, Naruto just went along with it, and then once he saw Sasuke, he was quite relieved, as he knew that he would have to train someone that he's used to and he's been training for years. And Sasuke is quite a strong one. He should not be a Genin right now. He should be probably a Chunin. But then they see somebody else. Somebody else. They see that is Man Mito. Man Mito jumped to the fact that their older sibling, their older brother, is actually teaching them. They go to hug him, but Naruto pushes them away, saying, "Hey, listen, no, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not your older brother. Just get on with your life." Of course, the two they are quite saddened as they realize what they did to their brother. They would always neglect him. They would never really show him any affection. And clearly Sasuke has done a better job than them at that. And they were quite jealous of Sasuke, as they would see Naruto and Sasuke around the village, and Naruto would always pat him on the head, and always tell him that he did a good job, and they would actually spy on them training sometimes. And clearly Sasuke is being trained by Naruto, who seems like a less strict teacher than their parents, and he seems like he understands how they feel, how Sasuke feels, and teaches him in a more informal way, as a friend, more of a brother, as teaching his younger sibling than a teacher teaching a student. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto would actually pretty much take them to the roof, as Kakashi told them to take the lead. And then once he takes them to the roof, then Tsuki actually asks them what their dreams, everything, just like Kakashi did. And then they asked for a demonstration, and they both looked at Kakashi, as Kakashi told them to do this, and Kakashi's like, "Oh yeah, 100%. My name is Kakashi Hatake. I like that's none of your business. Why I hate, that's none of your business. My dreams, don't really have one right now." And anyways, of course, this was kind of vague, and so Tsuki gave one, and of course she looked towards Naruto, and Naruto's like, "Do I really have to give one?" And everyone was like, "Yes." And Naruto then says, "My name is Naruto. That's it." And of course, this kind of hurt the two Namikaze, and my dreams, my likes, of spending time with my loved ones. And then he looks at Sasuke and smiles at him, but then he looks at Tsuki, and Tsuki blushes, and everyone realizes their thing. And then he says that his dislikes are being alone and conflict. And his goal and dream is to stop the cycle of hatred and become and start a family with someone. And again, he looks at Tsuki after that and giving her, little hints. But of course, Tsuki just bonks him on the head and says it's far too early for that. And anyways, now Sasuke would give his, saying that his likes are spending time with his family, just like Naruto. Of course, introducing himself first. His dislikes are people who annoy him and people who disrespect his loved ones. And his dream is to become someone who is worthy adversary to his, idols, and to become the strongest Uchiha that has ever lived. Naruto, of course, laughs, saying that that will be a long way, as there are so many to beat, and Sasuke actually, smiles and, tells him to just watch him. And then goes Sakura. Sakura just looking every time at Sasuke, and then Mito. Mito says that her likes are being with her family and training with her family, and her dislikes are being far away from her family members, looking at Naruto, and her dream is to be reunited with her family one day and to become the first female Hokage. Of course, still looking at Naruto. Naruto just shakes his head, and Menma pretty much has the same exact goals, likes and dislikes. And anywho, of course, Naruto then says, "Alright, guys, so tomorrow we will have a test, and I will be the one taking it, and the other two will be observing how you guys are doing the test. I will tell you more about the test tomorrow, and you're dismissed for today, as today is our first meeting. Tomorrow will be our test to see if you guys are truly worthy to be Genin." And of course, Sakura complains, and Naruto says that this is how ninjas work. Although you get 1 day of rest in a week, the next day you have to go straight away on time. Anywho, now, of course, they part ways as Naruto, Sasuke, and Tsuki go together. The two Namikaze follow them, and of course, Naruto and Tsuki actually haven't given Sasuke a gift yet for him becoming a Genin, and they take him out for ramen as that's his favorite food. And of course, it's Naruto's too, and Tsuki's. Surprising. Anyways, of course, they were just having ramen until they actually brought out the gifts. And the two gifts that they gave him was Naruto gave him a nice kunai with a seal on it, saying that this kunai will come in handy for him one day whenever he needs help. He should just put some chakra into it, and he will feel it and come and help him anytime. And also, he gave him a scroll with the majestic destroyer for him, and Tsuki actually gives him a nice scroll with a jutsu that Naruto actually knows perfectly, and of course, it's actually the Flying Raijin. And Naruto says, "How did you get that jutsu? Can I just know?" And of course, Satsuki says, "Well, I saw you using it, and I used my Sharingan to analyze it, and I learned every single step and detail of it. Although I don't want to learn it because it's very hard, and I really cannot be asked." Naruto says, "Do you really need to learn it? You're already fast enough. After all, Shisui has trained you like a madman. You're probably fast as him, or maybe even faster." And of course, Shisui says, "You shut up. Yeah, it's kind of long, and I know Sasuke has a lot of time in his hands, as he's only a Genin now. He'll be able to learn it. I really want him to become someone very strong." And of course, Naruto laughs and, pats Sasuke's head and says that you'll be great, Sasuke. And anyways, of course, Naruto does know that the other two Namikaze were listening, and they run away as they never really got gifts from Naruto. And Naruto knows that. However, Naruto had already something ready for them. Naruto already sent 2 gifts to them to their house, and once they entered their own 2 rooms, they actually saw that there was something on their bed. They thought that their parents did it, but they remembered that their parents already well, gave them something, and once again, it was from someone called Anonymous, like literally he wrote Anonymous, and they received something for their birthdays as well on that year, as they don't really have big birthdays anymore. They don't really care about them, and they only have it between family, as that is what they believe birthdays should be, family and friends, not the whole entire village. But anyways, now what they received was something very similar, scrolls with jutsu in them. Naruto actually decided to give them a jutsu of his own, which is the Rasen Shuriken, to both of them, as Naruto has already learned the Rasen Shuriken and knows it. Naruto has a lot of power, and I will be covering that in the, well, I won't be covering it as we will learn more about his power throughout the what ifs. This has been going on for 1 hour and a half, and I will be ending this part here. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please take it, stay safe. This was the King of Weaves. I loved making this what if, and it has a lot of little bits and pieces from other white pads I read, and I really wanted to make something similar. I know it's a bit copying, but I'll make my own story. Don't worry, it's already quite different from many of the white pads, as you know, is what is. Anyways, if it does remind you of any white pads, just I want to make sure to tell you guys that I do not want to copy them without giving them any, well, any credit. And if any of the white pads you read are similar to that, I would like to apologize for taking their ideas. I'm not copying them fully, but I would like to credit them. I actually forgot the one part I read as I think it was a few months ago. It was during this before summer holidays, which was during July that they started, but it was around May, June. Then I forgot them, as I don't really read Wattpad as much on my iPad anymore, and since I don't have the app, and I have a different account on my phone. Anywho, if you have any of them, please you can link them down, but make sure to actually write this is the Wattpad I recommend, then put one space in between, and with a colon after the this is what I recommend, and anywho the Wattpad I recommend. Anywho, my darklings, you're all dismissed. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take care, stay safe, and peace.